We are so pleased to have back on set for the 5th time Ann Jolles, who is an author, a motivational speaker, and the creator of the Grace Trail, which we're going to talk about today again. Now, the Grace Trail, the premise behind the Grace Trail is literally a trail that you can either walk physically or walk in your mind.
Right.
There's a lot of dimensions that go to it, and there's really 5 stops along the Grace Trail. We've covered 4.
Yes.
We covered gratitude, release, accept, challenge, and the last part of the E is embrace. And we're going to talk about embrace today.
Great.
So why don't you start with that?
Okay.
The 5th stop on the Grace Trail is embrace. What does it mean?
The E on in Grace is for embrace the possibilities.
Okay.
So I tell people, invite your imagination out on the trail with you.
Okay.
Because we spend all our time doing to-do lists and checking things off and doing this and this, move everything all around.
Yep.
We never take a deep breath, put our head up and say, what's possible in my precious life?
Right.
I mean, that's really one of the most important questions you could ever ask, because we downsize our expectations and we box them in instead of opening that box and just saying, wow, if I look up and really imagine, just imagine what's possible.
Right, what I can do.
So much comes before my eyes and in
Right.
my imagination, and then I say, take that, because that's your hope. We all have hope for a preferred future, how we wish things would be. Well, you take that vision, and I tell people on the Grace Trail, you hang it out there on the horizon, put your hope out there on the horizon, you can walk towards it every day.
Right. Now, embrace, and you said people tend to only go so far in their mind.
Right.
How far can I go? Well, that's a safety valve.
Right.
I mean, if I put myself way out there and I have
Right.
too lofty ambitions, I might fail.
Right.
So I'll only embrace the possibilities as far as I know I can do them.
Yes.
How do you convince people to take that next step?
Well, that's just getting, I say the adventure begins outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you know you're comfortable here and you're willing to take on this challenge or imagine that's possible, then what I do in my life is I try to scare myself every day. So just go a little farther and just scare yourself and get used to being a little bit scared, a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next time stretch just a little more.
Yeah.
And as you're doing it, you're going to be building your muscles of courage, you're going to get stronger, and you're going to get more comfortable being out there in the unknown.
Right. So when you walk the Grace Trail,
Yes.
and the one that you started here in Plymouth is literally a trail. It's a
Yes.
physical trail. And at each station you have rocks that you have
That's right.
you have
Yeah.
written on
Yeah.
that have the words the gratitude and release and accept and challenge and embrace.
Right.
And when you get to each of those stations, you can look at them and you can think about whatever you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Now, the Grace Trail can also be, you don't have to have a physical space to do it.
Oh, no.
You can literally do it in your, now how do you do
Anywhere.
it if you don't have a physical space?
Anywhere. Well, people are doing it just in their journals.
Yeah.
So they're asking the questions and answering them or drawing them.
Yep.
They're meditating on the questions.
Okay.
They're bringing the questions to groups like cancer survival groups, survivor
Excellent.
groups, recovery.
Yeah.
People in substance abuse and recovery centers are using it in their groups, and they're just talking it. I got a great picture from someone who actually gave a retreat, and they walked the Grace Trail on their retreat, and they built the whole trail with the 5 words, gratitude with arrows, release this way,
Yeah.
and it's a metaphor
Yeah, right.
for an adventure.
Right.
You'll find your way. Just begin.
Right.
Just take the first step and begin.
And if you create a Grace Trail in your mind,
Yes.
you can picture it to be anything you want.
That's right.
And the things that make you happy can be where you stop along that Grace Trail in
Right.
your mind.
Right.
It's like when you read a book and you don't know what the characters look
Right.
like, you develop them
Right.
your own vision of them. So tell me about some of the different places that the Grace Trail has been embraced. I know one of them is we talked about in Hanover. in
Hanover High School. Yeah, the students were made a Grace Trail behind the high school that connected the high school and the middle school.
Yep.
And it was open for the community, the teachers, the students, and
What kind of feedback have you gotten?
oh, they did. Hanover High is just really, Hanover has embraced the Grace Trail in so many wonderful ways.
Yeah.
The students loved it. I know when the high school students went into the art classes and had them write inspirational stones. I know that it involved so many grades, and I don't know exactly how many, but they loved it. The kids loved it. They could actually write their own inspirational messages. So it started there. The Grace Trail started right there in that art classroom
Yep.
where they had the discussion
Sure.
and understood
And
it.
it grew from there.
And it grew from there.
And
And
you were talking about some.
yes.
Tell me
Yeah,
about the newest Grace Trail that you heard
yeah.
about, which is really neat.
It's so exciting. I recently got an inquiry from northern British Columbia, which is on
Way
the
up.
western coast,
Yeah.
all the way up. I
Yeah.
say sort of near the North Pole.
Almost.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it was the public health director on an indigenous person's reservation.
Okay.
And she wrote to me and she said the intergenerational trauma from being displaced
Sure.
and over the years is just horrifying. And they're looking for ways to end conversations of hope and possibility for the people who are recovering. And so she wanted to take the Grace Trail and she wanted to put it on a Grace Trail in their healing garden that uses medicinal plants,
Yep.
and it uses the language of those people.
Great.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
So the Grace Trail can be in any language, in any
It can
country,
be any language,
in any place.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding.
So when you get your own Grace Trail or decide to do your own Grace Trail, I know you've created this kit here, which
Yes.
is really wonderful. Can you talk a little bit about it and
Yes.
what's in it?
Yes. So I've received
open it up.
so many different requests for people saying, can you come help me make it?
Sure.
I can't be everywhere.
No.
And so I've worked the past year, and this is, I just finished it like last week.
Okay.
And I worked the past year to put together, I sat there and I said, what do people need? Like the soup to nuts. No question unanswered
Yep.
to create their
Your
own
own
Grace
Grace
Trail
Trail.
anywhere.
Yep.
So I worked with a team and we put this kit together, which is now available. That is how to create your own Grace Trail.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
So it has the book itself, and it has, of course, one of the rocks, which
Yep.
we love,
Yes.
Grace Trail.
Yep.
These are great.
Yeah.
What else is in
Oh,
here?
there's some hope cards, which
Yeah.
slid over, but the hope cards, it's a deck of 57 cards that I created, and it nourishes your curiosity and encourages you forward on your Grace Trail. So you can pick a card,
Yeah.
and there are all Grace Trail questions in here.
That's great.
So you can sit alone or in a group.
Okay.
There's a workbook, poster, stickers. There's
Everything
so
you
many
need.
nice
Yeah, everything you need
surprises
for your
in
own
there.
Grace Trail.
Anything you
Yeah.
need to create your own Grace Trail.
Okay, that's great.
Okay.
Let's put this back down.
Yep.
Okay. Now I have a question on Embrace, which is our last spot that we travel on the Grace Trail. Once you've gotten there, you're all done.
Oh, it's just it's
no,
just
you're all
begun.
done, right? So talk about what's the next step.
Well, it's very interesting. That's just really the beginning. Any question you begin at is just the beginning, because a really good question is the beginning of a great adventure.
Yep.
So you can go to any question there, and that can be the beginning or the end for that day.
Right.
So there is no beginning, there is no end on the Grace Trail.
And in life, every single day brings
Right.
on a new possibility.
That's right.
A new adventure, a new something that you find out about that you might not be sure how to handle it or
Right.
what to do with it.
Right.
And by using this process, you can almost analyze every single item that comes or emotion or anything that comes into your life,
Yeah.
because it's a really good way of thinking, as well as figuring stuff out.
Right.
But it's a good way of complex thinking on any subject at all,
Right.
whether you walk it physically or in your head. And it's wonderful to walk it physically. Talk about the difference of the physical Grace Trail and the emotional Grace Trail.
Well, when I walk, I find my answers. I just love the trail to inform me.
Right.
It's full of life,
Yeah.
birds,
Smells, nature.
everything,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And you just get right into the present moment as you ask those questions in a beautiful setting. But that's our Grace Trail in Plymouth. We're lucky to have it here.
Yes, we are.
People can put them other places. And as you said, they don't necessarily have to be in beautiful spots.
Nope.
I mean, you can do it. You can ask the 5 questions as you're sitting on the train on the way to work.
Right.
You make your Grace Trail wherever you go.
You could have a Grace Trail in a building in Boston.
Absolutely.
Yeah, on the roof.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right, you can have it anywhere.
Yeah.
Now, you are going to be featured in a magazine, which is a pretty
Oh,
big deal.
yes,
Go ahead.
Yes. I am going to be in the June issue of Good Housekeeping.
Which is one of the standard bearers of great
Yes,
magazines.
Yes. It's really an honor. I'm so excited, and
They're highlighting the Grace Trail.
they're
in
highlighting
book
the
and-
Grace Trail, and they're going to say it's one of their June picks.
Yeah.
Something really good to do in the
Right.
month of June is to get out, walk with friends, and ask these 5 questions.
Right.
So it certainly is an opportunity for me that I never even imagined,
Yeah.
but I'm so excited.
It's amazing how this trail has blossomed.
It has.
It has, and it's affected so many people in such such a wonderful way. It's completely affirming. It's completely positive. We need more things like this in life.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you
Thanks
so much.
It was
Thank
great.
you for the 5 times we've had you on, and thank you for creating the Grace Trail. We look forward to hear your adventures in the future.
I look forward to telling you.
Thank you.
Thanks.